Welcome to our Sunday preview for this sixth Sunday in Easter season. We're getting pretty close to the end and to the great feast of Pentecost. In fact, this week will be Ascension Thursday, and then we'll be celebrating Pentecost on the 23rd of May. So the readings are starting to point us toward the Holy Spirit. And today we have a reading from the Gospel of John in chapter 15. And it says, Jesus said to his disciples, "As the Father loves me, so also I love you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy might be in you and your joy might be complete. This is my commandment. Love one another as I love you. No one has greater love for his friends than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do as I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I have called you friends because I have told you everything I heard from my Father. It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. This I command you, love one another." The Gospel of the Lord. This is the great new commandment of love that Jesus gives us. That commandment that's really impossible for us to keep without the grace of God. How can we love like Jesus loved us? I mean, he loved us all the way to the cross and to death on the cross. But he says, "I've chosen you," and that he takes the initiative. "And I have chosen you so that you can go and bear fruit that will last." It's an interesting way he puts that. He wants us to be fruitful in our lives. And he chooses us to go out and bear fruit. And he's talking about that in the context of this Christian charity that has to be a self-sacrificing love, just like his love. And I think when we pair this with the first reading for this Sunday, which is from the Acts of the Apostles, and it's the story of Peter going to the house of that centurion after he is sent for. And he goes to the house of this Cornelius, who's a pagan, a Roman, and a Gentile unbeliever, right? Not a Jew, not somebody they were on the lookout for, not somebody they were looking to recruit or convert to the cause of Jesus. And Peter goes in there after being summoned and finds that the Holy Spirit comes upon Cornelius and his entire household. And it's a moment of awakening for Peter and the other disciples that are with him, that the Holy Spirit can come even to unbelievers. The Holy Spirit can change even the people that are farthest away from God. And I think if we think about that in terms of how we're supposed to bear fruit, it's a call to all of us to maybe broaden our horizons a little bit, to not put people into categories and to limit them, and certainly not to limit the grace of God, because he can reach anywhere he wants. And all he needs us is to be his collaborators, his instruments. And he needs us to be open to the action of the grace of the Holy Spirit. And so when Jesus says bear fruit, we have to be open to the way he wants us to bear fruit, not our preconceived notions. And maybe God's asking each one of us to reach out to people we never would have thought would be a good candidate to be a Christian, or people that we've written off, people that we've got low expectations for, people we think are hardened hearts, and too far away from God. Well, we shouldn't put any limits on the action and the power of the grace of God, because he can do miracles in us. He wants us to bear fruit. So who is God asking you to reach out to, perhaps? How does God want to bear fruit in your life? Maybe God's going to surprise us.